Hi, this is Greg Monty. I'm the director for the Energy Research Center at North Carolina A&T, and I'm also the leader for a National Science Foundation grant called EMERGEinSTEM, and it uses some software called LearningBlade that your teacher has decided to use in the classroom this year as a supplemental learning tool. And we're conducting the research because we want to determine whether or not this software has an impact on how you view yourselves in STEM, whether you like STEM or not, whether you intend to continue on a pathway in STEM. We think it's going to be great for you because you're going to get a lot of exposure, not just to STEM concepts, but that are aligned to the North Carolina standards, but also you're going to get quite a bit of exposure to different kinds of careers that you could have in STEM fields, which I think will be exciting to you, show you STEM pathways that could lead to very high-paying and exciting jobs down the road. So what we're going to do today in this video module number 2 is to first tell you a little bit more about EMERGEinSTEM and LearningBlade, as I've just done, lead you through doing a student assent form online. That's going to use your 9 to 12 digit number or GCS number that you have for your student ID, and then that's the number that I want you to use for your assent forms, which is the student consent form, then the consent form, which is for your parents, and then pre-survey forms. You'll always use that 9 to 12 digit GCS number when you fill out these forms. Then I'm going to lead you through doing the pre-survey after we do the student assent form, and then lastly ask you to do a parent consent form that you can do online as well, and you'll be taking that home. So you either get an assignment in Canvas from your teacher, or possibly they'll hand out a piece of paper and ask you to complete that assignment with your parent or guardian. So it's really quite simple what we're going to try to do, and what I want to impress upon you and stress is that what you're going to do is very simple. You're just going to follow the instructions that we give you to do the assent form and the pre-survey form today in the classroom. Right after this, your teacher is going to play module number 3, which will allow you to essentially enroll in the LearningBlade class that she's running using LearningBlade. So that process can all be done today in this particular science class. And I think that it's going to be exciting, like I said, for you, and it's very straightforward. You're going to have a chance to choose the kinds of missions that you want to do. If you're interested in biology, you can pick missions that are focused on biology. If you want to work on robotics or computers or engineering, you can find some types of missions within LearningBlade that are fun to do. And I thank you for doing the work and completing both the assent and consent form and the pre-survey. All of this information will be kept confidential, and your name will not be associated with your responses when we report back to the National Science Foundation. So good luck with LearningBlade this fall semester and next spring semester of this academic year, 2018 to 2019. And I think you're going to enjoy this a lot. Thank you very much. So let's do the assent forms first. Take out your computers, your one-to-one computers or pads, and go to EMERGEinSTEM.org. You see that on the top of this page. This is our home page. It shows a picture of a young child with a rocket on his back. And what we want you to do is go over to the Resources tab on the right-hand side and drop down and select the EMERGEinSTEM Forms page. So on this page, if you page down far enough, you'll see the Student Assent Form online. And that's the first thing we want to do. So I want you to click on the student assent form. And then you can read all this information. It's essentially what I just told you, that I'm the director. I'm running the program with Guilford County Schools. And you're going to be using some software which is going to give you an education in STEM concepts and also introduce you to lots of different kinds of careers. And I bet many of you don't know right now what you want to do for your career, and this software is really going to give you a chance to explore in a wide variety of different topic areas the kinds of careers that you might be able to have later on in life. So I think it's going to be really exciting for you. So you can read this form if you wish from start to finish. What we're going to have you do is type in your student name. So click on this section here and type in your name. I'm going to do it on the screen. So I'm going to type in Greg Monty, which is my name. And then the next thing you do is you put in a student ID number. I'm going to put in a random set of numbers for myself. Take out all the alphabetic characters. And then I'm going to click on yes, I agree to be in the study. If you don't want to be in the study, you don't have to. You can still use the software, but I sure would appreciate it because this is the only way for me to prove that the software has an impact on you, is to have you in the study. And anything that you enter is going to be kept confidential, and it's going to be anonymized. It's going to be anonymous data that gets submitted to the National Science Foundation and reported out. So once you've done that, you click on the arrow on the bottom right hand of the screen, and it will return, "We thank you for your time spent taking this survey. Your response has been recorded." And that information will go into our data sets, and it will be kept confidential because this is the only form that has a connection between your name and your student ID on it. So we'll be keeping that in a separate secure place. So the next thing we want to do is do the pre-surveys. So you can use your back button to go back to the forms page, or you can go back and enter into EMERGEinSTEM.org and resources and go to EMERGEinSTEM forms and bring up the forms page again. And now what we're going to do is a pre-survey. So I'm going to walk you through a pre-survey. And this is the pre-survey that we want to do is the one that says EMERGEinSTEM Student Pre-Survey before using Learning Blade. So we're doing it as a before using Learning Blade pre-survey. So what I want you to do is to click on that, and that will bring up a survey for you to answer. So there are a number of pages. At the bottom of each page there's an arrow that you'll click to move on to the next page. So the first page just shows you how the survey is handled. This is called a Likert scale. So it has, I think you've seen these before, everything from strongly disagree to strongly agree, and 5 different things. So if you were an I like engineering, I agree, you'd click that radius button. So there are no right or wrong answers. It's just whatever you feel is the correct answer for you. So let's get started. What I want you to do again is to put in your student ID number. So that's the same number that you had before, which is a 9 to 12 digit number that you had, and then answer the gender question. I happen to be male. You can look at the various answers. You can put other or prefer not to answer here, and then answer the question about ethnic heritage. There are a number of different answers there and combinations. You can also say other or mixed if you don't like any of the answers above. I'm non-Hispanic white, so I click that. When you're done with that page, click the double arrows and it'll take you to the next page. This just confirms that you're completing this pre-survey before using Learning Blade this year in 2018-2019. So click yes and the double arrows. Indicate the grade that you're in. I'm just going to click 8th grade. I don't know which grade you're in, but you would be either 6th, 7th, or 8th, I presume, if you're in middle school. If you're doing this as a elementary school, you can click 4 or 5 as a grade. If you're doing it in high school, probably 9th grade would be the highest level that you're using this software. Then click the double arrows and it takes you into the actual questions of the survey. So this survey has a section on math, science, engineering and technology, 21st century learning, and then questions about your future and your interest in various aspects or careers in the areas of physics, environment, biology, and so forth. all the way to the bottom. And then a couple of questions about yourself. Once you answer the questions about yourself, it will lead you to a few more questions to finish up the survey. They really depend a little bit on what you answer here to this very last question. Do you plan to go to college? Yes, no, or not sure. This will take you to a sort of a different set of questions based on the answer that you give. So if you said yes, it might ask you a number of other questions that are different than somebody saying not sure or no. All right, so what you're going to do here, it's very simple. Like the first question says, math has been my worst subject. And then you can answer strongly disagree to strongly agree. I'll just pick a neutral answer. I would consider choosing a career that uses math, and you can answer that. What I'd like you to do is just go through this form and answer these questions to the best answer that you think is correct for you. Again, there's no right or wrong. And then you'll get to the section about your future, and you'll say you can read about what physics and jobs in the physics field are like, and then say I'm not interested at all, I'm not so interested, I'm interested, or I'm very interested as your response. And do that for each of these different fields. You can first read the paragraph and then give the answer that's most appropriate in each of those areas. And lastly, do the part about yourself. So I'll let you do that. While you're doing that, I'm going to fill in my own tabs on the screen, and then the teacher will pause and wait for all of you to sort of finish this portion of it, or go all the way to the end of the survey, and then she'll restart the video. So go ahead and start answering all these questions on your computer. Alright, so the teacher can pause the video here and wait for everybody to at least get through this page, and then restart the video. So once I put in that I am going to go to college, so I'm going to go to a four-year college first as my answer, and then I can put in different schools that I think I want to go to. I'll put in Purdue, MIT, NCA&T, and then areas of majors that I'm interested in. And then you can answer this open-ended question and whether you know any scientists, engineers, mathematicians, or technologists. And then it says, thank you for taking the survey. It's over. And click the final double arrow, and that will tell you thank you for giving your response. And that's really the end of this module 2. There is one final step, as I mentioned earlier, and that is the consent form. For us to use the data that you just entered for your pre-survey, and then later on with the post-survey, we do need your parent or guardian to give consent. So your teacher will hand out a consent form assignment to you, either online or on paper, and it's a simple set of instructions for you to follow with your parent or guardian at home. It'll take you no more than 5 minutes to complete. It's very similar to the assent form that you just did here in class. So please do that. Take that home, complete that, and bring that information back to your teacher, or tell them that you have completed the assignment. And then the very next thing you're going to do today is follow Module 3, which will allow you to essentially set up a login for yourself for Learning Blade, for using Learning Blade, and to essentially enroll yourself in your teacher's class. And that Module 3 takes no more than 8 to 10 minutes to complete. You're going to do that right after you've just completed this assent and pre-survey module. So thanks for listening to module number 2. Your teacher will now play module number 3 for you. Thanks very much.